Hello, everybody. Hi, Eugene. Welcome. This is Dr. Rao. Today, I'm going to talk about what I call it's a kind of biological healing response that we can elicit. Um that's kind of central theme of several of the healing systems. It's more like uh, simply termed in Western medical terms, we call this parasympathetic nervous system stimulation or activation. That's why I put it like a PSNS to make it simpler. It won't take that much title to put it there. You know. It's basically vagus nerve stimulation, but in other systems like yoga, they are not termed like this nervous system, but more like Ida, Pingala, uh, and uh, nadis, Kurma nadi and all that. So it's a different language, but essentially the same thing. Is basically uh, is the central nerve, the vagus nerve, which kind of supplies the eyes and the throat and the breathing, and once it pierces down the diaphragm, several of the important organs. So uh, having this nervous system relaxation really allows you to be very healthy. This is also a kind of antidote to our regular modern problem of sympathetic overload. We react too negatively, we react there is a danger, and we kind of hurry and all those things, right? So on a regular basis, we all go through this sympathetic nervous system overload. And this parasympathetic nervous system activation process are very much against the sympathetic overload. That's how it is kind of antidote to our stress and strain of the modern life, right? So naturally, it comes with doing some eye exercises, doing some facial exercises, and uh, going down and having the deep breathing, controlling the heart rate, and yoga exercises, or any of the exercises that kind of have this body mind integration, right? And also emotional intelligence, in the sense we have less reactive than response rate, right? That's a very good thing too. So all these things act on our mental framework as such, and basically it's a relaxed system rather than really wound up, tensed up, stressed out system. That's where it is really working. So all these systems that we do in the ancient practices directly related to this. Okay. Hi Alka, welcome. So it's a very important system. All them together, they produce our healing response at the metabolic level. Okay, that is what we were going to talk about. It's a very important system because this is not very well practiced, not understood either. That's why you get to understand and then really get into the habit of uh, incorporating some of these practices into your daily routines, right? um, Thereby you really are going to, you're going to be really uh, first understand how the whole response is elicited, then consider the how you bring those healing routines into your um, into your regular life. Okay, so let's uh, see the generally what we do is we kind of have patients come into the office, and there are situations where I get to tell them very, very bad news or really life changing news. Like somebody has a diagnosis of life threatening illness, it could be anything, right? So, if you tell them something, immediately the fear complex and everything comes, and then actually blood drains out of their face. You can see it in front of one lady who was very jovial to begin with. Whenever she came to the clinic, it was her delight. She used to crack jokes. It used to make fun of everybody, and she was a delight to be with, and we loved her. And she had been with us for years, but then ultimately there was a time when I had to tell her that she had cancer, right? And the lady who was smiling and it actually happened, very laughing and all that. She was there sitting down. I was hesitant to give it to her because it is a something. I was afraid what how she would react. So I was asking, is your husband is around? Is he coming or something like that? Then she said, no, doctor, give it to me. I can take it. And all. So after some persuasion, I finally said, okay, I got the reports of this, and I slowly, very gently revealed to her what she got. But I also told her this is just a preliminary report. I need to confirm it. I need to have biopsy. I need to have receptor. I have so much work to do before everything. But then the moment she heard the word cancer, and he kind of lost all her poise, all her cheerfulness and all that. She's actually collapsed into the bed, you know. And after that, we is a very invasive cancer that was there. She died uh, 2 weeks later, dramatically, so that was one thing I could really react. Of course, there were other people too. There was another lady who was in the clinic, and she is a Jehovah uh, witness or somebody. There's a Jehovah Witness, So she was there, and she's a very, very nice lady. She was in a very good position in our hospital, so she had a lot of followers in the hospital, and also she has a big family. When I told her something like a serious illness, I think she had a carcinoma of the colon, a very invasive. And when I told her, she was so calm and cool. And then she said, "Oh, I'm going to go back to a I'm not going to take any medications." And she said, "It's against my religion to take anything." Obviously, I have to respect her wishes, right? But then her family invaded my clinic, like 50 people came, and then they wanted to convince her somehow that she would be able to um, take some medication, something that she would live a little longer because it's too sudden for them, right? So those are two extreme cases I have seen in my clinic, So what happened there was information that they took it, and immediately their whole system reacted. So this is the healing response versus non-healing response, right? What they displayed was the non-healing response in an acute phase. But our lifestyle, our way of reactions, our way of observing information, all those things are very key about this healing response I'm talking about. Yeah? So you can really heal yourself. You can really help yourself to be better metabolically. That's really coming up now. Okay, not only we do metabolically. For example, you can teach babies about potty training, bladder and bowel control, right? And then the yoga system says, why are you stopping there? Why can't you be controlling your heart rate, your Respiratory you can control manually too, but you can control the heart rate, you can control your immune system, you can control your endocrine system, that kind of thing. Okay, so this is something based on this. Okay, so if you can do deep breathing, if you can do certain eye exercises, if you can do certain facial exercises, including smiling, if you can really focus on your heart rate and get it down and calm your mind and all that, uh, you are better off. So, excuse me, all these healing practices of the ancients are really oriented towards this. So that's the main point I want to talk about. So even the regular routine that we do early in the morning in our wellness club is simply like a being in the present, so that our mind will not take us to the memories of maybe of yesterday, which was not really good, or maybe anticipating something in the future. That so staying in the present and deep breathing and doing routines to improve immune system, routines to do eye exercises up and down, side to side, clockwise, counterclockwise movement. All those things I make them do. And there is a regular routine that we do for the immune system enhancement, because it enhances the lymphatic flow. All these exercises we do. It's a very simple routine. It's not a big deal. Right? Once if you see, you will grasp it. Then, of course, yoga asanas, there are like around 35 asanas altogether. Basically, what they are, uh, forward bending, backward bending, side bending, and also sitting some exercise, standing, sitting some exercise, sitting down on the floor, and also on the mat, lying flat. All these different ones, they actually activate body mind coordination, right? This is the good thing about the martial arts and Kaigong or Tai Chi or any of these, yoga also, all these are oriented to the body mind interaction, right? And that results in your relaxation of your body and relaxation of mind. So all these routines are very simple to master and say very simple to incorporate. But don't do it once a week; it won't work. You got to do at least once a daily. Once daily is better. It's not like a heavy exercise like strength training with the weights and all that. So you don't have to take um, breaks, but actually you are supposed to do them every day and really take those principles into your daily life. That's like, don't react emotionally, but respond to the challenges that are presented in your life, in your work, in your relationships, and all that. Okay, so that kind of thing is very valuable for you if you can cultivate this. Understand the spirit of uh, how the parasympathetic system activates is the deep breathing and relaxation, and it's a rest and digest system, right? That's the one you want to activate. So you can shut down what are the things that you are reacting to. Those are the sympathetic overload means. And then once you are aware of that, and in your life, just study how it is going a day, and how you are really getting you into that. Okay, and then reverse them and live in such a way that you are not activating your sympathetic nervous system, but you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system, and you will maintain not just living, but live long and joyfully too, because you will cut down on the metabolic derangement, and then you live in homeostasis basically, and that's why your biological health will be very good. And it's not just longevity, but it's about health span, how long you have been living healthy, joyfully, and really not going out of balance, right? It has got to do with your circadian rhythms. It got to do with the lunar rhythms and universal rhythms. You are also living according to them. That's also very important too. So, hello Santosh, how are you? Alka, you have any questions on what I said? So, Santosh,
Can
how
you
are
hear
you?
me?
Yeah, yeah,
You can hear me? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Everything is fine. Love to listen to you. And
yeah.
you're talking about always talk about the health and all these things. So just now I joined, doctor. I didn't know what topic we are talking right now, but yeah, carry on. I will be listening to you.
Yeah. I was talking about what we can elicit like a healing response in our metabolic level by really controlling how we breathe and how we react to things, how we understand the whole system, how it responds, how it reacts, and all that. Generally, modern life is like we kind of have situations where they say we got to complete this by this time deadline, or they're going to be punishment, or they're going to be consequences, something like that, right? In the rules of efficiency, we have inserted a culture where people are living in anxiety, fear, and apprehension, like what is going to happen. Okay, or they may say I don't have time for do these things. That is also the kind of putting ourselves on the limit, right? So we're always on the go, on the hurry, on the anxiety level, and all that leads to a small reaction of sympathetic overload over the entire day, which kind of builds up into a big thing, and then sooner or later it will result in real stress and burst and burnout. Okay, to reverse that, I was telling about good things that you could do on a daily basis to reverse that kind of sympathetic activation. That is this parasympathetic nervous system, by deep breathing, by relaxing, by controlling your mind and heart rate. All those things can be done by us. That's what I was talking about. But if you go much deeper, the meditation, the calming down the mind, that's very important too. That will also help us to nullify if you should accumulate any of the stress hormones during the daily activities. So that's what I'm talking about, Santosh. Okay?
Yeah, that's good, doctor. Yeah, you always have a lot of what do you call that golden nuggets? You are
Yeah.
throwing the golden nuggets everywhere. That's really great. Like I remember when I'm driving now, when I see the red light or green light, and I remember Dr. Rao. Dr.
Yeah.
Rao said that. Oh, Dr. Rao said that. Right? Yeah, it's good. I have a lot of respect to you that you that much of experience you have and that much of things you have done in your life. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely we can get benefit. And end of the day, health is the most important factor, right? No matter what you do in your life, end of
Yeah.
the day, you have to look at your health, how good you are doing. And we always take an example of the people who are very fit and fine till their
Yeah.
late years of their life.
Yeah.
Even the old age, they are fit and fine because so many factors plays a significant role in our life, right? So no
Yeah.
one thing, two things, three things. There are variables of things. That's why, I'm 47 years of age now, and I'm also trying to reduce my age. Maybe 10 years. I think I reduced it by 10 years already because I still look at the people around my age group and, other age group that I think I'm quite better in my age group. So
Mm.
what I do is I think positive, do the right thing, eat the right food, divide my time in proper ways, for a holistic way of living life, not putting only one thing in a big way, divide the time and put the things on priority based, which is what comes in the first priority, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, or
Yeah.
seventh, right? So, yeah, these are the important things, and I'm learning every time I come in here and I listen to you, and,
There is
I go
a
to other rooms, and, you
there is
know.
a something newer understandings from the medical point of view that we want to educate everybody. At least me, I want to educate them. What it is It used to be that we kind of gave up things to happen, like a cancer and other things. But nowadays, suppose we study real genetics, the genome, we know that only 5% of them are real penetrants. That means if you have those like a BRCA, uh, that gene produces breast cancer for you, right? But the rest of the 95% is epigenetic. What does it mean is those can be modified by your lifestyles. Okay, you don't have to have the disease just because you have the gene, and that is all. Epigenetic is changed by your environment, your experience, and all that, right? So we can gene editing nowadays we can do, and we can change the like right now it is done for the sickle cell disease. Okay, but down the line there will be so many other diseases also will be edited, and whatever that we should not be having, the genes can be taken out, and then probably we can control the old age much better. Okay, towards that, what I call proactive wellness. That's what I want to everybody practice. That means you are not going to respond after your diabetic symptoms are there. Suppose you have that diabetes in your family and you have lifestyle similar to your father who had diabetes, you can revise, you could test early, you can change things. Thereby, you don't have to have the manifestation of the diabetic state, right? You may have the gene for it, okay? That's all epigenetic, you know. So much deeper understanding where some of the things are whatever you want a chronic disease that is going to be optional. That means you kind of allow it to happen, you kind of really not taking care, even though there are measures that you could do that can prevent the so I'm kind of doing the surveys of making people aware of what the future is going to be by focusing on it right now. You see, Santosh, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's good, doctor. Yeah, indeed. Like, you are 100% right because some sort of people have that stereotype thinking. Like, let's say your father has some sort of disease and the similar disease you got it, you just claim to it's my
Yeah.
gene and all these things. They don't put their effort to control it because it's my gene, it's happened, my father has that, and
Mm.
it's happening to me. But there are so many ways that you can control to
Yeah.
some extent. But I'm not a, medical science facility. I'm talking like, your parents are high obesity and you are
Yeah.
getting that obesity and these things. But
Yeah.
if you don't change your food habit, definitely, of course, 100% you're gonna get obesity, right? But
Yeah.
if you control these fooding habits and your lifestyle, definitely you can control over that. That's
Yeah.
that's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah. See, have you heard about CRISPR company?
No, no,
It's
doctor,
a
no, I'm
it's
not.
a gene editing company. The test that they give you, they take your gene and study it and tell you, oh, these things that we need to edit it out. It is evolving. Like I said, sickle cell disease, they can really do that now. That means they take away some of the gene material so that the problems of the disease won't manifest. So that kind of service is there. It is going to evolve into more diseases, and as it evolves more diseases like Alzheimer's, cancer, these are things that they are attempting to do. I don't know how much success they will have, but certainly for the metabolic illnesses, this you have to have diet correctly. You should not be having stress, and you should avoid getting the inflammation from food and other factors into your system. If you can control these three, inflammation, stress, and diet and stress, you can easily correct. Inflammation also, stretching, breathing, all those things can be very, very well controlled. So this is not just a preventive exam. This is like a knowing the information that is evolving is very much we can assimilate and then act on it and get better results because of that. Okay, for that, just what you need is some awareness of these tools that are available, and also some smartness. Like I don't want to suffer with all these things. I want to take care of them before they become problem. You see, that kind of, it used to be done for people who are very important, executives who are controlling so many thousands of jobs and all that. But now it is going to be very common, not yet, but it is going to be very common for people to do. This is what I call proactive wellness. That's why I'm promoting that quite a bit. I have been talking about it for a year now, but then as the year going on, so many new technologies are opening up: genome, microbiome, nutrigenomics of the diet and all the diet and genes. So many things I talked about. It's not new, but I talked about before. But I am now putting it together so that you can go out there and practice these things. You can certainly get up in the morning, take some a few deep breaths, and look at the window and be in touch with your nature. Don't allow the mind to go on its own track. Don't open the devices. Then go and do your exercises. While you're doing exercise, so be in the present. And then after you have done what you do in the morning to get yourself to the present, carry that through the day. And also pay attention to whatever you are doing during the day. Don't react too much, but respond. And when you come home, reflect and let them go, unwind and go to sleep. All these things you can easily do, but the consequence of this kind of laid back lifestyle is very good for your metabolic picture. That's what I'm trying to project here. I also have this uh, thing I was talking about. It's called enhancing the human being, where I divide the human comes from the humor, like a earthly elements and material body and mind. But whereas the being is our spiritual being, so you got to take care of your body and mind, but also you got to take care of your spirit by identifying that you are spiritual to begin with, and then going through the human experience. So orientation, education, understanding, all these things have to be brought out. Because I went into ancient wisdom, studied and understood, and living that way, I'm trying to share that with other people. So anybody on the wisdom, if you want to, you can come up. So this is going to be ongoing feedback by me for you guys on this front. Like for example, if we have Alzheimer's disease prevention, and this one that's evolving, when it really comes to the stage where we can do the gene editing and then do the Alzheimer's out of our way, I think that will be a wonderful service for a lot of people. But other thing is, there are so many healing systems that are holistic in the ancient wisdom. I think we should take advantage of that. That's where people are really brainwashed about one system or other, and they don't really implement them. But for example, you are eating only processed food, and that's definitely no, because we all know this processed food leads to the inflammation, leads to the chronic disease, suffering, and all that. So what do? You just go to the mostly fruits and vegetables that are raw, and nuts, and eat them rather than processed food, that is cooked in oil, that is pride, all those things. We all know, but then they're limited, but they don't really try to see that is eliminated as much as possible. If you can do that, then also you can enhance your metabolic rate by your exercise, especially the mind body interacting exercises, that are basically from the martial arts, from the yoga, from other things, right? Then you are better off. Okay, but the thing is, they do it once in a week, which is not going to help. You have to make it a lifestyle, and then adopt the lifestyle. the modern lifestyle kind of pulls people away from this, and that's where the harm is done. And I see the harm on the other side. Okay, that's why I invite people to open their eyes to these things, and then come up, uh, be aware, just be aware, just be really smart about this, and then don't go to the systems where they are making money on your illness. But we are trying to promote wellness systems that are going to make people permanently well, not just uh, to the spot. Okay, they say, oh, this is altruistic, this is noble, and all. No, it is like a common sense. I don't want my mom and other people to suffer, right? Just like that, I don't want my patients to suffer. That's why part of being a doctor is just allowing people to be aware. If they are aware of these things, and if they are specialized in knowledge, yeah, we will learn from them. But if they are not aware, I'm just bringing the awareness out to this newly evolving technology that's going to be very useful for you to preserve your. But then you combine that technology to diagnose and edit and all that. But then you have to incorporate good lifestyles, which are really the yogic lifestyles, Ayurveda, the meditations, and all those things are very important to do. And that they won't happen just because you know this information. You got to make it a practice and observe, and make sure you are doing that. Okay.
I got it, doctor. So it's all about the lifestyle, how you live your life, like not about 1 day, 2 days. Make a habit.
Yeah.
It's the regular habit. So if you make a regular habit, you don't feel burdened to do the things. It
Yeah.
goes automatically set in your subconscious mind, and
Yeah.
then it starts to move itself, right, doctor?
Yeah.
That's what you are saying.
That's a very good thing you pointed out, Santosh. That subconscious, that's a
Yes,
major thing, because most of the
yes,
people are brainwashed, in the sense that means they believe everything, they let everything go into subconscious, and then those subconscious messages will come like, oh, I go to this restaurant, this is a very wonderful, tasty food, but you forget that that is laden with a lot of things that is not good. That's a simple thing, but then the very act of thinking itself is kind of conditioned. How you think, what you think you are, all those things have to take a very radical re-evaluation. Like, for example, without that deep awareness, you cannot have a good life at all. Okay, but you don't be in the awareness once in a while maybe, but mostly people are in their thoughts, in their conditioned thoughts. Somebody trained you to think like that. Okay, oh, all this kind of lifestyle. For example, you establish an ambitious goal, and then you are kind of going after it, and then you are generating a lot of stress for you. You need to learn, how can I achieve something by having this tension going down, but at the same time I can be intense about this. So if you are, I use a term called intense, means you are really intense without the tension, you see.
ah,
But the modern life is
yes,
like a induces the tension. We are not saying that
yeah, yeah,
you should not have a goal and you should excel for the goal. That's all good. But why can't you do
yes,
it in joy, in kind
yes,
of serene calmness? That is possible. So what you do is, this is what I train the physicians for the burnout. You know what I tell them is, you divide your day into before work, at work, and after work, right? Before work,
yes,
what you want to do is, it applies to anybody. Get yourself to be in the mood of, I'm going to serve my customer, I'm going to serve my patient, service attitude. Okay, that's a very good way of not having a tension, because you are trying to do something voluntarily good for somebody else. That itself, that giving without expecting anything itself, is a good thing. But then we are trained about getting compensation, getting the money, and all those things, right? So from that, if you are in a job, just change your attitude, like, I'm going to go and do my best today, give them voluntarily what I can do, the institution. That kind of simple attitudes inside change it, and then you will reap a good benefit. Otherwise, you are going to go there in fear or anxiety, then all these underlying metabolic things are happening. That's why understanding how the subconscious is fed by unconscious thoughts and trying to remove them as you go on through the day. For me, I do what is called moment to momentary awareness. Okay, that means Santosh comes to me and I have had a talk with him and he wanted a solution for a problem. I pay complete attention to that and I will give the best of my ability and make plans for further workup or whatever. But then after Santosh left, I cannot eliminate all that from my mind. Why do I have to carry it to the next patient? Because I go to the next patient with a completely uh, innocent mind, like a beginner's mind, like, that is being in the present all the time.
Yeah, very
Cultivate,
true, Ram. Very true.
cultivate that habit, then do whatever you do completely with happiness and joy, and then don't let that be a burden on your mind while you are working. That can be done though, because thought is what it is. Uh, they call them vrittis in Sanskrit, right? That means stimuli comes or a memory from our past, whatever comes up, then we kind of generate the thought, right? This thought, if you let it completely go its career, like it has some period of a few minutes, and finish it off completely, and that means you have to be in the next moment completely, then this is done, right? That is a good thing. If you don't do that, what happens is vritis is they go into your subconscious and they form some skaras. These samskaras form a like a path for themselves. So the moment you recollect anything about that, this whole thing rakes up and the whole thought will come with emotional reaction, everything. That is the one which is not good. Whatever you see, just to see and do enjoy and then finish it off. But don't carry that in your mind. That's a difficult thing for a lot of people. And because they don't meditate, they don't try to really be in charge of the mind. Mind becomes your boss and generate these reactions that generate all this stress underneath for you. Okay, so understanding the mind and thoughts, how to control them, how to really make it not your boss, is very important. So for that you need meditation formally and then daily, and there is a way to excel that skill, and then you have to spend your time and all. But people are going from one to other all the time. There is no rest for them to stop and reflect and then control what is happening inside. You see, that's why this information age is very, very difficult for this, because so many things come at us on a daily basis, on a even hour, on even a minute by minute. We get so many things at us. You see, that's why meditation is a very important thing, and understanding the subconscious mind, understanding this conditioning, all those things are important.
All right. So we have to make our habit to be on moment, like what
Yeah,
exactly you're doing. Just first concentrate on that. If you start to think two
yeah.
things, you can't be concentrated. If you can't
Mm.
be concentrated, you can't achieve the goal. So that's
Yeah,
very, very, very
yeah,
interesting. So that's how people does meditation to bring the moment closer and closer and closer. Isn't
yeah.
that
I live in the present.
so?
I live in the present,
Yeah,
and that is not. It was not so before. But what I'm trying to
yeah,
tell people is it can be done. But then we need to really go into this, understand, and do that. Okay. People are doing all sorts of things apart from what they are supposed to do. Okay. So, but if you do that, then your metabolic. There is something. Um, a term called kaya kalpa in yoga. What this is people deliberately make themselves to be in a dark place for a year, and then they go through physiological detoxification and panchakarma they call it, and also emotional detoxification, and spiritual detoxification. And these people, it's very difficult to do 1 year. But they, when they do that, they have new hair, new teeth. Like the body becomes so good. But we can do that in a modified form. Okay, first bring the awareness into your life, and whatever you do in that awareness, not thinking about it or worrying about it, but being aware of what you are doing and completely immersed in it, where you are doing it with a silent mind, but very actively you are doing the physical thing. That can be done. You can start practicing today. If you are going to go and sit down and eat dinner in silence. Eat dinner with the focus on the food that you are eating and how that food came there and how much you have to be grateful for. So be grateful for the food and savor it, enjoy it, but eat it in silence. If you can practice things like that, I can tell you a number of things like that, but you can practice like that. I can be a doctor, I can be informatician, I can be a instructor, I can be a coach, I can be so many different roles, but I'm not completely involved in the role rather than what I'm doing. You see, I don't have to go there. Oh, I'm this MD or whatever, whatever. I don't have to have title. I know the expertise why they came, and I'm going to pay attention. Why do I have to feel like I'm this and that and all that? So those things are subconscious. Like for example, you identify with your job, you identify with your role. You identify with your status or what is the compensation, all that. Those things, when you work, you have to work trikarana shuddhi, they call it. That means by thought, by your speech, and by your action, you are congruent, right? And the deeper thing is uh, yoga staha kur karmani. What does it mean is, first establish yourself in the union of your individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. Once you are in that union, go and do anything. That's kind of difficult for people, but then because the topic has come, I kind of extended to the ultimate. But if you are, that's a sentence from Bhagavad Gita. Yoga staha kuru karmani. First, establish yourself in yoga. Yoga doesn't mean just doing asanas. Yoga means this is what it is: individual consciousness, mix realizing that is already part of the universal consciousness, and then staying in that. Usually, our mind is taken away from that as though we are a different entity. I'm a male, I'm a leader, I'm a doctor. All those roles come into, and then we kind of uh, fall away from our real place in that universal consciousness. So when you do that, the mind will behave like a servant for you, and it will really help you to do stuff in a awareness, moment to moment awareness. You know, wonderful things. These insights from the ancient wisdom certainly made a difference for me. Even if I fall off sometimes, I get back again and then come back to it. But then years of trading like that kind of established in that. For example, when I first started, they asked me something like, "You have a thought, right? Yeah. Are you aware of it? Yeah. You are another thought. Are you aware of it? Yeah. But are you aware of the gap between the thought and the next thought? That took some training, you know. And then one fine day, yeah, it is true. I can be aware of the silence there too. And then that silence became more and more permanent, and the thoughts became less and less frequent. And that is the meditative awareness. You are not in thought, but you are in awareness. Because you are in awareness, no thoughts, you are in meditative awareness. Clear? Does it make sense to you, Santosh?
Yes, doctor, I was just here and there. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a I'm listening. I'm listening very carefully, doctor. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things that when every time I come in here to listen, I feel like I have to start to do meditation. That's what I learned from you.
Yeah, I think these days that is needed, because before you come into state where you are always in the meditative awareness, you need to do certain things to come to the state, like anything, right? First, find out whether you can, when you are sitting down by yourself, do your thoughts go all over from one to one, jumping without any order? That means scattered. Then you say, okay, I want to bring it to one focus. You can do anything, for that. You can look at one picture and focus on that, or you can close your eyes and pray your Ishtadevata, that means your favorite god. Any of number of things you can do, or you can repeat a song or repeat a mantra, whatever. Then all main aim is all the scattered thoughts, bring it to one focus, right? And then stay with that one thought. If you cannot, don't catch them and go into the thought takes wherever it takes, right? Don't go there. Just observe it. And also ask your question, where is this thought coming from? Obviously coming from your deeper inside silence, right? Then you will be able to go and settle down there. If not, just observe the thought. Be the witness, right? Once you are the witness, then you have separated yourself from the thought. And once you are on the thought, you can recognize, is it a negative thought or a positive thought? The moment you identify it's a negative, you can try to make it positive, something positive about it, and suppose you are thinking bad about somebody, then you say, but he's also a human being, how bad he can be. That itself, is a positive about it. And then you can say he's also a human being, he can also have this down states or up state, that's fine. Then once you have identified the one thought and made it to negative or positive, then you got to go beyond that. So it takes a lot of time. It depends upon each individual. Some people may already matured and they can do. Some people have to develop that. But make a habit of sitting down in the morning and the evening for half an hour and trying to do this exercise with your mind, and thereby all the thoughts in the subconscious will be spent up or heated out with your focus and meditation. Then you will have less to deal with over the time as you go into it. But in here, people are thinking only information is good and then accumulate unnecessary information. That is where you don't want to overload, okay? And then the idea is to be silent and really in a spirit of serenity, you can land up and stay there. And this is important now because there is so much information overload is going on, unnecessary things. That's where you got to exercise this discrimination of what is important, what is not, and what is really I can keep or I can throw away, or what is toxifying me. I don't want to go to that information, or not allowing the information to seep into me. So very subtle things. This is not you can do in one day. It takes probably for years for some people, for months, for weeks, and for a few hours. It depends upon where you are at. But you can identify without judging yourself, what is happening with my thoughts, what is happening with my mind. Am I quite, as Dr. Rao was saying, am I movement to movement awareness? Am I in the awareness where I don't have thoughts unless I want to have thoughts? That's what I say. Be in awareness with conscious thought. That means you are thinking deliberately. Thoughts are not impinged on you, they're coming into you, or even somebody wants to give it to you, you are kind of away from it because you are observing it. You are observing it, you are being a watcher, you are being a witness. And thereby the thoughts won't take their own life. So they, if you allow them, They will start one thought, then it will form another thought, then other thought. So first thought, second thought, third thought, and then there's a network. And once you're caught in the network, you cannot come out of it. That's what's happening to many people. They form their own network like a spider, spins its own net, and then gets caught in the net. That's what is happening with a lot of people. And the problem is, with that, there are a lot of brain chemicals that come in, and they mess up your brain health, and that reflects on your metabolic health. Okay, so that's why this has serious consequences about this information overload, this network of thought, this negativity of thought, and not knowing uh, that movement of silence and awareness, that's really losing out on a very, very important healing response that you could have by being inside. That's why I always say a self-realized person who has a very silent mind is the healthiest state. Anyway, I can go on like that. It's very fascinating and very
Doctor, it's very interesting, right?
yeah, it
Yeah, I
is.
got you. Whatever you mentioned, and every time you are bringing the amazing thing, and that's really helpful, right? That's really
Yeah.
helpful. So
No,
end of the day,
it's a
like
needed.
if you,
It is
yeah,
needed, Santosh. Our
yeah,
culture is all that evolved into. We are inventing beautiful things, but then we make them turn against us. That's what I'm trying to point out. I use, for example, AI. I use
yeah,
to do a lot of my book work, coursework, or any number of things, making videos and all that.
yeah,
But I don't let it dominate me in the sense I form a addiction for that and I cannot do without. No,
yeah,
I only use it like a tool. Like I want to use as a hammer when I want to nail a
yeah,
something. I will use that and then put it away. You got to develop this, not forming this habituation with these external tools. You got to turn inwardly and then develop that resilience. That's where people are really falling victim because they think, oh, all this productivity. Somebody was talking about somebody can do this much, you can also do this. Why you're not? As if the productivity is only in life. For me, what is out there producing $1 million is nothing compared to the peace I get when my mind is silent.
yeah. Very true, very true.
That's what it is. That's why I consider this all this work is a blessing to me. Even when I share
Yeah,
with these people, that is it. It's a blessing because I rehash and relearn what I learned. Right? By sharing, I
yeah,
feel good. Okay, I'm trying to share with my friends. That's good. But then the effect,
yeah,
yeah, the effect inside is my gratefulness, my compassion, my giving nature really helps
yeah,
my metabolic picture. That is the medical
yeah,
fact I'm trying to bring out here.
yeah.
Suppose
Very true, very true. Like,
you
yeah,
are
like a lot
angry,
of people.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you are
like a lot of
angry,
people.
if you are
Yeah,
angry, the anger is going to affect you too.
yeah.
But
Very
still,
true,
I
very true.
still it's not that I don't get angry, but I'm aware what this anger can do. Sometimes I use my anger. I may shout at my family, my friends, and even my patients
Yeah,
also. Suppose he's not doing what I told him to do, and then his results are way out of whack, and he comes because I want his wellness. I kind of lose my temper and I shout at him. But that is
yeah,
done with love, not with hatred or anything, right? And then once he says, "Oh no, 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 I'm going to correct my ways, I'm doing it," and he sees the importance of doing that, then I will talk to him nicely. So it doesn't really affect me that way.
yeah. Very true, very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
End of the day, when you get angry, like it hamper more than the other people. Like it
yeah,
affects on your body,
yeah,
in your brain, and
yeah,
you get frustrated, start to get headache and all these things. So
yeah,
when people start to understand these things, and it's very very helpful to them as well. Like I am also the person like I don't get that much angry with
mm,
anyone
yeah,
unless like as you said like some of the situation also not an angry person, right?
Yeah.
And I realize that people, when they get angry to others, and
Mm.
they support the most.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of people develop this as though they don't have any control. It's not true. We have the control. We can revert back and say, okay, I can show my anger without being emotionally reactive. Okay, I don't want to call them names. I don't want to make them belittle. I want just to make them realize what they are doing to themselves, like a mother chides her son like that, or a father chides the daughter like that, not too much but enough to for them to realize the folly, right? And then afterwards you make up with a nice gesture like a smile or like a touching on their shoulder or just being kind and loving, that kind of thing. Actually at the time that's a much better molecular milieu for us when you show the feeling of love and all that. Mm.
Yeah, you're right, Doctor. Doctor, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I spent some time here listening to you. You're amazing here, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
So these are the very important things for our life is to live in a holistic way of our
Yeah.
life, to be healthy and even prosperous. Like if you do that, you can perform your job well. You feel good. Your
Yeah.
brain start to work properly, and you meet the good people. You connect with the nice people. So it's all the positive things
Yeah.
and everything you do positive, and your life would be prosperous and better, right? So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Doctor. I'm out for now, and I
Yeah.
will be joining
See,
later. Maybe you
Santosh,
plan to
I'm
talk
doing
now.
this corporate wellness for the corporations, and
Yeah,
I'm helping them to be more productive by helping themselves to be well, you know. So
yeah,
that's
that's very
very
good.
important.
That's very good, Doctor. You are doing
Okay.
amazing job. I really appreciate you. If any, we get chance to meet sometime
Yeah.
somewhere in life, so we can see. Like if you're coming to Australia, let me know. Sydney, I live here.
Okay.
If I come to America, like if I'm coming close to your place, we'll see. And
Yeah.
we are coming on a regular basis. So thank you, and I
Okay.
really appreciate you. And I would like to say bye to you now. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Santosh. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. We will leave at that place and take leave from everybody on the wisdom and also on the other channels on the StreamYard, on the LinkedIn, YouTube, and my Facebook group, Conquer Burnout. Okay. Thank you. Dharne, Dharne. ధరణి ఇప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు రాదు.
వస్తున్నానండి, ఒక నిమిషం.
అదే నీకు ఆపటం రాలేదు ధరణి. అది విన్నావు అసలు నేను చెప్పింది ఏంటో?
విన్నాను.
ఏమైనా చెప్పు.
అదే మైండ్ గురించి, థాట్స్ గురించి చెప్తా ఉన్నారు.
మైండ్ గురించి, థాట్స్ గురించి కాదు నేను చెప్పింది, హీలింగ్ రెస్పాన్స్. అదేంటి, నువ్వు ఆలోచించడం బట్టి, నీ రియాక్షన్స్ బట్టి నువ్వు నీ మెటబాలిజం ఫామ్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు పాపకి అదేనమాట, అంత వైలెంట్గా చేయటం వల్ల ఆమెకి అది అవుతుంది అనమాట. అర్థమలా? ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు పాప నేను ఉన్నప్పుడు కాల్ చేయి, నేను చూస్తాను ఆమె ఇంటరాక్షన్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుందో, దాన్ని బట్టి మాట్లాడదు. నేనేం మాట్లాడను. ఓకే, నువ్వే జస్ట్ మాట్లాడి నేను చెప్పి నీకు చెప్పు ఆమెకి. అప్పుడు నీకు చెప్తాను తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఏమైనా. నువ్వు ఏదైనా ఫస్ట్ లేదమ్మా ఇది ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ మేము ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు చేస్తున్నట్టుగా చెప్పు అనమాట. ఇది ఇది ఇదేంటది